A journey through the maze of modern medicine. Imagine standing at a crossroads with dozens of paths stretching out before you, each one leading to a different corner of a vast, intricate landscape, the human body. In the world of medical training, the journey often begins with a wide lens, taking in the sprawling terrain of human biology. But as the years pass, that lens narrows, zooming in tighter and tighter until the focus rests on a single, tiny patch of ground. For some, it might be the delicate machinery of the lungs. For others, the winding rivers of the circulatory system or the rocky cliffs of the skeletal frame. This sharpening of focus is the hallmark of contemporary healthcare, a system built on carving the body into ever smaller territories. Take, for instance, a student stepping into this world. At first, they abandon the starry skies of astronomy and the bubbling potions of chemistry to chase the secrets of life itself through biology. Later, in the hallowed halls of medical education, they leave behind the ecosystems of forests and oceans to chart the inner workings of flesh and bone. By the time they're honing their craft as a resident, their gaze might settle on something as specific as the fragile network of the hand, its tendons, nerves, and joints, while the rest of the body fades into the background like a distant horizon. After years of this, the option arises to zoom in even further, to stake a claim on an even tinier plot. One might become a maestro of the wrist's inner workings, a guardian of the thumb's delicate pivot, or an expert in the sinews that tether muscle to bone. Success in this world is measured by how deftly one masters their chosen sliver of the body. The ultimate prize? Perhaps having a rare quirk of anatomy named in their honor, like a legendary anatomist whose name now graces a subtle flaw in the hand's design, a glitch tied to tremors and aches, celebrated as a pinnacle of expertise. Staying within these narrow boundaries isn't just rewarded. It's a shield, a way to sidestep the risks of straying beyond one's domain. A patient caught in the web picture, a bustling clinic where people arrive carrying invisible burdens. Among them is Elena, a woman in her early 40s, her life shadowed by relentless exhaustion and pain. She steps in with a tremor in her hands and a weariness that clings to her like damp fog. For years, her days have been punctuated by episodes, sometimes a dozen a month, that leave her reeling, her joints stiff and inflamed, her spirit dimmed. She relies on a steady companion, a service animal, and moves cautiously with a walking stick, her eyes shielded by dark glasses against a world too bright to bear. Her story unfolds in a thick sheaf of records, a chronicle of visits to a parade, of specialists. A brain expert prescribed pills to quiet her storms. A heart specialist tackled her racing pulse. A pain healer offered potions for her aching frame. A mind healer tried to lift the gray veil over her thoughts. Yet despite this army of helpers and a pharmacy's worth of remedies, Elena remains trapped in her suffering, a prisoner in a shrinking cell of her own body. Flipping through her files, a quiet shock settles in. What could possibly be offered that hasn't already been tried? Amid routine questions, one stands out. Has she ever explored a way of eating that might ease her burden? She blinks, unfamiliar with the idea. It's a surprise. Pamphlets about such approaches sit in stacks nearby, yet no one had thought to mention them. Instead, she'd been shuttled through scans and tests, handed script after script, each new pill piling onto the last. When the possibility of sidestepping trigger foods is raised, her shoulders stiffen, a silent doubt that something so simple could matter when legions of experts hadn't suggested it. She asks for another prescription instead. Elena isn't alone. Many arrive with similar tales, their lives stitched together with paper trails of persistent woes. Her youth makes the contrast stark. She's too young for such a heavy load, ricocheting between specialists like a pinball. The system's cracks yawn wide here. She's not just unwell. She's crumbling, her vitality slipping away, tethered to a cycle of care that keeps her afloat but never free. The urge to simply write another script tugs hard. It's the expected rhythm, tidy and billable. But something churns beneath the surface. Another pill won't rewrite her story. The charade of hope could play out. A new drug, a follow-up in a month, a mutual nod that the job's been done. Yet, deep down, it's clear. Her body isn't crying out for more medicine. It's whispering something else entirely. Unraveling the threads, what fuels our ailments? When the usual answers falter, curiosity takes over. Could Elena's troubles, scattered across her body, be woven together by a hidden thread? A peek at her tests reveals a clue, a marker of unrest in her system, a signal tied to simmering chaos. It's a spark familiar from distant lessons, linked to conditions like sugar imbalances or creaky joints. Could this unrest be stirring her storms too? A quick dive into research unearths a trove of evidence, thousands of studies tying this silent fire to her symptoms. This fire, inflammation, is the body's alarm system, flaring up with heat or swelling to fend off invaders or mend breaches. It's a marvel when it works as a swift, healing burst. But for Elena, it's a flame that won't die, smoldering endlessly, scorching the very tissues it's meant to protect. Why does it linger, this restless guardian, when no obvious foe lurks? In the daily grind of treating ears, throats, or limbs, a pattern emerges. It's all about taming this flame. The roster of ailments, swollen glands, irritated passages, aching joints, reads like a litany of ETs, the medical shorthand for inflammation. The toolkit brims with ways to douse it, sprays, drops, infusions, all aimed at calming and overzealous defense. When those fail, sharper measures come into play, carving paths for trapped fluids or propping open, narrowed ways. These are stopgaps, wrestling the blaze to the ground, but it often roars back, undeterred. The question gnaws, why does this fire keep reigniting? What's spooking the body's tiny sentinels into constant alarm? No cuts or infections leap out, yet the cells tremble as if under siege. A hunch takes shape. Could this unrest ripple beyond one corner of the body, threading through every symptom Elena bears? Science nods yes. This smoldering chaos underpins a cascade of modern plagues, from clogged arteries to foggy minds. Yet, the medical machine rarely pauses to connect these dots or dig for the source. The cellular cosmos step back to the unseen world within, a universe of trillions of cells, each a bustling hub of life. Under a microscope, they shimmer. With purpose, tiny galaxies of action that knit together our existence. They can't speak, but their whispers hold answers. Complex, yet not as tangled as the system might suggest. Leaving behind the scalpel's precision, a new path beckons. A plunge into the roots of vitality. Training in nourishment, cellular dance, and holistic webs rewires the mind. Alongside others who've stepped off the treadmill of prestige, a fresh mission blooms to foster healing, not just manage decline. A cozy practice springs up, bathed in light and green, offering a different tune, building wellness from the ground up, not chiseling away at sickness from above. Word spreads fast, and soon the days brim with seekers like Elena, carrying knots of stubborn ills. This time, the approach shifts. It starts with the cells, the body's unsung heroes, giving them what they crave and clearing what chokes them. Food becomes a lever, habits a scaffold. The payoffs surprise. Knotty troubles loosen, aches fade, energy stirs, numbers steady. The flame dies down, medicines dwindle, and flickers of possibility return. Often, less proves more, a quiet reversal of the old playbook. The engine room, where energy falters, the root of this unrest. A simple twist. Cells starved of power, rattled by a world gone awry. When their energy falters, they cry out, and the body's defenders rush in, only to spark more havoc. At the heart of this lies the mitochondria, those tireless forges turning food into fuel. When they thrive, life hums. When they stumble, bogged down by modern excess, the whole system creaks. 10 culprits emerge, from overfed diets to sleepless nights, each chipping at these tiny engines. Sugar floods in. Nutrients vanish. Toxins creep, each a pebble in the gears. The fallout? Cells clog with waste, signals jam, and inflammation flares. A domino tumble from quiet dysfunction to loud disease. A new lens on wellness. How to spot this silent drift. Simple signposts, blood sugar, waistlines, pressure, offer a glimpse. When they align, vitality flows. When they skew, it's a flare that the cellular furnace is faltering, a cue to act before the cracks widen. The science sings, mastering this energy dance slashes the odds of modern killers, from heart woes to mind fade. It's not fate, it's a lever within reach. This shift, from slicing the body into silos to tuning its deepest rhythms, feels seismic. It hands over a key, a way to thrive amid a storm of modern traps. The stats scream urgency. 3/4 wrestling weight, millions battling rogue defenses, youth shadowed by weary livers. These aren't quirks of nature, they're echoes of a system out of tune. Zooming out, the view sharpens. Health isn't a patchwork of parts, but a symphony of cells, and the music starts with how we fuel them. Understanding this isn't just power, it's a lifeline to reclaim what's been dimmed.